Welcome to another build review. As I mentioned before, I want to finish some of my 1/44th scale kits before moving on to bigger projects. I hope you all saw my build review video of the Trumpeter Sukhoi Su-47 that you can see here. The outcome is quite interesting if you ask me, so I wanted to build something less crazy. And that was this REVELL F-15E Strike Eagle. Another 1/44th scale kit with 70 parts and finally a twin-seater. Even though I don't really like twin-seaters, the Strike Eagle is one of a few exceptions. To be honest, I wasn't really in the mood to do another video. It takes a lot of time to edit the footage, and furthermore I can build much faster without having to check if the camera is in focus. Another point is that my videos just don't get the attention they used to get. I'm aware that most of my subscribers came here for other content, however some of my old scale modeling videos got up to 12,000 views, even though my models looked quite bad back then. So for me the YouTube algorithm is clearly one of the problems, because I still keep getting comments on old videos that I should buy an airbrush. And I've been using an airbrush for about 3 years now. In short, I would be delighted if you would turn on the notifications and maybe share my videos with your friends and other scale modelers. Now that may sound like I don't feel like doing this anymore, but it's not like that. On the contrary, I would like to make the build review for the next model more detailed, so that some people might learn something. I have already received some questions, and if you want to have more detailed explanations of something, just leave me a comment. And now let's finally get into the build review. The cockpit came together quite nicely. I just used the decals provided and did some detailed painting and dry brushing. As in the case of REVELL's Super Hornet, the whole nose section has to be glued in front of the fuselage. The fit was excellent, however, so I continued with the air intakes and later the conformal fuel tanks. Up next I painted the wheel wells, air-to-air missiles, landing gear and landing gear doors, and mounted all the pods. After that I closed the cockpit with white glue and started painting the armament. I tried to use the decals for the missiles, but gave up and masked these little stripes. Furthermore, I tried to add more detail to the GBUs. I'm not sure, but I think the blue stripes mean that these are dummy bombs, am I right? Leave me a comment if you know more. The next step was the pre-shading of the aircraft. For that I used my marbling template and sprayed on a mixture of brownish grey. After that I highlighted the panels, but had some problems with the airbrush clogging again. As a base color, dark gunship grey was sprayed over the Strike Eagle in thin layers. Most of the time I spray too much, so the pre-shading isn't visible at all, but I'm getting better with that. Up next were the engine nozzles that lack detail out of the box, but I honestly wasn't motivated enough to scratch build, so I left them like that. I masked off these areas around the nozzles and sprayed them with steel. When the paint was dry, I used Tamiya's Weathering Master to add some effects to these panels. I really enjoy using this product because it's easy to use and it adds a lot of realism. Next up I wanted to give these oils a try. I put a few small dots in areas where I expect dirt or grease and removed most of it with white spirit, so the effects are only subtle. Furthermore, I tried the same with white enamel paint to get a bit of color modulation, for example here on the air brake. Then I tried to use the oils as a wash on the left wing. Unfortunately, it seems like the white spirit gets through the clear coat and dissolves the amorphic paint because the black primer appeared again. I already had the same issue with my Super Hornet, and I heard about similar problems from other modelers. Therefore I added Ammo's enamel wash to my mixture and tried to be very careful with the white spirit. I had no more problems with the paint coming off, but wanted to give it some drying time, so I continued with the decals. I sprayed on another gloss coat and started putting the decals on the underside of the Strike Eagle. So after placing the decal, I remove the moisture with a cotton swab and add some decal sol so that it adheres to the surface. Unfortunately, I still had some problems with silvering. Next up, I added the weapons. It was quite difficult to find a realistic loadout, but from what I read, the GBU-15s can only be mounted on the wing pylons and the GBU-10s on the larger pylons on the conformal fuel tanks. If my used loadout is still wrong, let's just say that this one is a training station for the load crews. I removed the landing gear doors that I had fixed with Petafix before for easier painting. Obviously that wasn't a good idea, because it was like removing chewing gum from your hair. There wasn't any paint in the wheelbase though, so I could continue with mounting the landing gear, gear bay doors and of course the wheels. Now that the assembly was finished, I tried the panel line wash again on the upper side. Again I used my mix of Ammo's Animal Wash with a bit of oil paints and everything worked out well. The only problem left was the silvering on the decals. I used tons of setting solution and even tried to sand them down, but nothing worked. So let's just say that the decals are bad. The last step was to remove the masking tape and liquid from the canopy. There was some residue from the tape's adhesive on the canopy, which gave me a chance to test my new rotary tool. I simply added some polishing compound and was able to give a nice shine to the canopy. And here you can see the finished Strike Eagle. Even though there were some mistakes in the manual, I think the outcome speaks for itself. I wanted to get these 1/44th scale kits out of the way to move on to larger aircraft again, but I really enjoy doing them. The assembly is very straightforward, so you can spend some more time on painting and trying new techniques. As I said before, I will build another 1/44th scale kit now, but split it in a couple of videos and go more into detail. I'm still quite amateurish, but if there is anything you want to know, just leave me a comment and I'll try to explain how I do it in these videos. Please follow me on my other channels as well and share my content if you liked it. So that's all for this video. Thanks to everybody who helped me with this video. Thanks for watching and have a nice day. Bye.